Hello everybody, back here, CyHawkThoughts Studios. It's the big dance.
Yeah, we're dancing.
Now, I don't know, I mean, can we say March Madness without getting sued?
Well, I think we can say March Madness without getting sued, but I think we owe a royalty every time we say March Madness.
Okay, we won't say March Madness anymore, okay?
No, I'm actually saying it with two D's. Madness.
Oh, okay. And I'm saying it with a silent H, which, so it's, wait a second, that doesn't make sense because the H is still there.
If John Madden was there, we could call it March Madness.
Yeah. I only got one S on the end.
There you go.
So, when I say March Madness, it's only one S. And you're March Madness.
Yeah, I got all sorts of stuff going on.
Alright, sounds good. So, we will no longer talk about March Madness on the show because March Madness is upon us, and we love March Madness.
Oh, March Madness is great.
And if Big Dance is already taken, well, we're not going to talk about the Big Dance anymore.
Yeah,
talk about teams dancing.
Sweet 16.
Ooh, is that an Elite 8?
Ends. Yeah, Elite 8 is enough.
It's actually spelled out 8 instead of the number.
Exactly.
There we go. All right. So anyway, it's here. The brackets are in. We're going to have a nice fun show today, talking about our thoughts on the brackets, all sorts of different aspects here, what we found. Chuck and I today will go over that. Should we start off a little bit about the Big 10 and Big 12 tournaments that were?
I think we should.
All right, so let's start off with your Hawkeyes.
All right, Iowa, congratulations. You beat Illinois. Myers Leonard is going pro. Big victory, guaranteed at least a 500 record this year. Might even be a winning record if the NIT snubs you here in a couple hours. And we'll see what happens. Got beat by Michigan State. Hey, so did a lot of teams in the tournament.
Yeah, Big 10 champions.
So did everybody else. So not a problem there. And it just shows where we're at right now this year. But help is on the way. And
in the form of a couple Central or Midwestern kids, I should say, because technically Gaselle's not Iowa.
No.
Right? No, he's not. He's Nebraska, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in the form of Midwestern kids that are going to be very, very good.
I like it.
Good. I thought they had a big win on. It was a big win. It placed them, and they didn't play terrible against Michigan State.
No.
And
there's a better team, and there's a team not as good, and they shut down Gatons, and hey, that's
what you got to do.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do to win, and they did that. So, give credit to Michigan State where it's due. I'd have to say that they're going to get into the NIT. That's my prediction.
I don't think so. I hope you're right.
I think they get in. Everyone's calling it the best conference in America. Why not give the second 4 teams NIT berths? Minnesota, Northwestern, Illinois, and Iowa.
I don't know if I think Iowa should get Northwestern of those teams should get in over Iowa. They beat them twice. Iowa should get in over Minnesota because they beat Minnesota twice. Illinois, that's interesting because they don't have a coach right now.
Well, it's just didn't even think about that one. Bye bye, Weber. Well, I think they're in. I think they should be. I'm really gonna. I think it'd be good for everybody too. If they don't, do they accept invitation to a CBI or something like that?
No, because they should. But I hear rumblings and rumors and innuendo that Iowa wouldn't accept that, and I don't think it's because Iowa technically. It's not Iowa saying that. Would be my opinion.
Okay.
I'm just going on a limb. I don't want to get sued for saying anything outside of context, but my opinion would be is that they should accept whatever they get. Let's keep Matt Gatons playing, even if it's one more game.
That's what I'm saying. Matt Gatons will sit there and be like, give me the CBI.
I think it's already been settled that they have to turn it down.
All right. Well, regardless of them getting in, I think it was a successful season.
6 games better than last year.
Yep. Great turnaround. Speaking of turnarounds, Iowa State had one of the best turnaround, or not one of the best turnaround in Big 12 history.
Absolutely.
9-game difference, going 3-13 to 12-6. Who called 12-6 in their preseason preview? Hello.
That guy.
12-6. I was a little bit off. I had a 12-1 in pre-conference games. We ended up 10-3, but I hit 12-6 right on the money there. What happened in the Big 12 tournament? A lot of things you could say. We couldn't hit the broadside of a barn at times. We played without any intensity. We could not give any help to Bab, it seemed like. I mean, Jacobin Brown, that's a heck of a player, and I'm giving him all the credit in the world. But, I mean, if you're letting a guy destroy you like that, especially when we have one of our best defenders face guard him, we need some help. Yeah. And the help didn't seem to come. We had spurts where it was like, this is the Iowa State team, where we go up by 11 like it's nobody's business. We do it in a minute and a half to 2 minutes. They went on a 22-4 run, but it took them a while. And that's how potent we could be if we play like that for 40 minutes. We just haven't done that. And we definitely didn't do it there. When we lost our chances at, maybe a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament with that loss. Could have been there. Could have been a 7 seed. Instead, we get that dreaded 8-9 seed. And I don't think the NCAA tournament did us any favors this year.
It's crap.
Well, it might be crap, but it's what we got to do. So, perfect segue into March Madness.
Yeah.
The big dance.
Let it begin.
Okay, sounds good. So we've got, as everyone wants to talk about here, it is CyHawkThoughts. We'll talk about the Cyclones. We're in the South region, matched up in an 8-9 game against the defending national champions, Cyclones Hawkeyes. Chuck, what are your thoughts on that?
Here's my thoughts. If this Cyclone team from this year played last year's UConn team, UConn does not win that game, is my thought. Because Bab shuts down Kemba Walker and UConn doesn't win national championship. That's my thought.
Okay.
Spin it to this year, Iowa State wins.
Okay, sounds good. So, you know what's going to happen. Bab's going to get probably Lamb. Okay? He's going to have that task of stopping Lamb. Problem is, we've got Napier and Boat. I think his last name is Boat or first name, I don't know, something like that. There's 2 really good guards. They can shoot the ball. I'm not terribly familiar with how their inside game is, but it's going to be a game where if we can keep Napier from going off from downtown and handle Lamb pretty good, we could win this game.
Absolutely. Should win the game. We're a higher seed.
All right. So, as a higher seed, we're going to say we move on. We hit Kentucky.
Fair. Because as a higher seed, they would move on as well.
I would say so. I don't think that the winner of a play-in game is going to give Kentucky all.
Is that the Lamar? No, because they play North Carolina.
Yeah, it's not showing up here in terms of those type of games.
That's
but
okay.
So let's talk about Iowa State, Kentucky. Hoiberg got knocked out of the NCAA tournament by Kentucky, and I think it was a final score of 104-98 in that 1992 game.
Man,
they, if Iowa State wins that game, does Christian Laettner hit the fall-away shot? That is probably the most well-known shot in NCAA history, besides maybe the dunk that gave North Carolina State the national championship.
Yeah, of young timers like us, people would probably go back to Loyola in the '60s and say, hey, and
Valpo's shot.
Oh, if you don't want to talk like title game or close to it, but yeah,
well,
yeah.
But that Laettner shot probably is the most well known, or at least the most played.
Yeah.
So if Iowa State wins that game, maybe we go down in history as the team that Laettner hit the last second shot instead of Kentucky.
Yeah. It's quite possible.
But that was the last time that Iowa State and Kentucky, I believe, met in the NCAA tournament. Went to Kentucky. Hoiberg was part of that team.
If Julius Mikulak had been guarding Laettner, he'd been smart enough to face guard him, and that probably wouldn't have happened.
Mikulak might have fouled him.
He might have.
So Laettner goes to the line and beats us that way. But you know what? This is a new year, okay? This is not 1992 anymore. In fact, it's 20 years later.
It is.
So 20 years later, does Hoiberg get that victory over Kentucky? It's going to be a good matchup. A lot of people are saying this is a bad matchup. Well, if there's a team that we're similar to out there in BCS conferences, I'm going to have to say it's Florida. They jack up a lot of threes. we jack up a lot of threes. Has the Kentucky-Florida games been any type of a blowout? No, they have not. They've been 10-point wins for Kentucky. It very well could be a 10-point win, but I don't think this is a matchup where Kentucky's sitting there just going, no problem.
Indiana, very similar team as well, and they beat Kentucky. They shoot some threes.
Vanderbilt hit some threes.
Yeah, they've got an inside guy. Iowa State inside presence, outside threes. Very similar.
Yeah. We're just going to have to contain Anthony Davis. We're not going to be able to let him. I mean, and you can't have Royce White on him. You can't afford to get him in foul trouble. Not that he plays a heck of a lot of defense. That's one of Royce's downfalls this year is his defensive play. But at the same time, I'm not the coach, and I'm not the one. Maybe he's hearing his ear. Do not get in foul trouble. So that could be the case, which means that we're going to have. Booker and Gibson played very, very well on Davis because I just don't think Edgem's the right matchup. I mean, Davis is 6'11" or something like that and athletic. And Edgem is athletic, but he's only 6'6".
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little different there. But let's say that Iowa State gets past Kentucky. That's the only, I'm just saying, let's say they do. They're probably looking at a Wichita State or an Indiana or a VCU, in my opinion.
Yeah, and New Mexico State, they're not terrible. They beat Drake earlier in the year in the bracket buster game. They shoot some. They play run and gun, shoot a lot of threes. But yeah, I could see Wichita State, Indiana. You never know.
Yeah.
But Wichita State, that'd be fun.
That would be
Stutz
fun.
the Klutz, Iowa State.
And then let's take it even farther. Let's say we can get down to the Elite Eight. We could be a rematch with Duke when we played Duke in Chicago and did not do so hot. Or we can hit Baylor again, perhaps, too, because Baylor can make some noise down there. And then at that point, you're looking at potentially Missouri, Michigan State. And then at that point, you're looking at someone from the other bracket. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get there. I just decided to run through some scenarios because it's fun.
Sounds great.
It's fun to think about.
Yeah. It's March Madness.
Yes, and it's the big dance. And if Iowa State puts on the right dancing shoes, they can beat some teams.
Why not?